Datuk Sri, you walked out today a free man into a different Malaysia than what you went into prison under. How does that feel to come into this new government?
Well, it's a new dawn for the country. It's a new experience. Everybody seems to be relaxed. There's no sense of being intimidated or harassed, and that's real joyful feel for me. And I can sense that people talking and expressing themselves more openly. And I think if we can sustain that, and we can build upon the trust, we can do and achieve much more.
Now, you of all people would know what working with Dr. Mahathir is like. And do you actually believe that he is different from the man that you knew about 2 decades ago? And you actually trust him now going forward?
Well, I have also observed, I have my reservations initially, and cynicism about the so-called agreement or reconciliation efforts. But he came to see me, and then he showed such compassion and concern, which I thought was absent in the past. And what is more startling is his commitment to the reform agenda, judiciary, media, etc. And it took a lot of work by party leaders, NGOs, and to convince him, because it is not just a matter of toppling Sri Najib. There's just one man. But then we're talking about a system that's disintegrating and has made corruption a culture, and the abuse of power and intimidation as something which they see or deem necessary for the survival of the government.
But now you are saying that you aren't actually going to take over immediately as Prime Minister, but there is an agreement for this to happen.
Well, there's an agreement that Tun Mahathir will hold office until the whole process has been exhausted and I'm free and by election, etc. But looking at his performance and his sacrifices and tenacity throughout the period of the elections, I think he deserves to be given a chance to prove himself. And I believe that many Malaysians have that trust, and I share that. So we should give him the ample time and confidence, and not to be seen to be harassed unnecessarily, because I think the country needs to be governed effectively, and too many things need to be dismantled in the initial period. And I think he has begun, and my duty is to support his endeavours.
You said you have put your past behind with Dr. Mahathir, but with your latest conviction, with the one that the sentence that you've most recently served, you have said that was politically motivated. So do you still believe that that was something put in place by Mr. Najib's government to keep you out of politics?
It's clear. The decision was just 2 days before Kajang by-elections. And 5 years means enough time for them to conduct elections without my being present. It's just 1 month away, you know. 8th May, 9th May is just a month before 8th June, when I was due to be released. What is pre-planned? The unfortunate thing is that the judiciary is complicit in this. The way they rushed into it, and Karpal fighting tooth and nail to get them to at least allow us to present our case. No, they didn't. They had to finish it, and they have to convict me then, because then they would deny me contesting in the state by-election.
Now you have Muhyiddin Yassin as part of your coalition among other people from UMNO. Have they backed up this assertion of yours? Because Muhyiddin Yassin would know if there was actually a ploy to get you out of politics. Have you had a chance to actually have your version corroborated?
No, of course, Muhyiddin and some other colleagues from UMNO during the time I was charged and incarcerated, would deny there any part of the role, because normally all this done at the behest of the Prime Minister. You don't actually consult party leaders.
How then do you feel about what's happening to former Prime Minister Najib Razak right now, with Dr. Mahathir opening these investigations into him and all this? How, as someone who feels that it was the former Prime Minister who helped put you behind bars, how does it make you feel to see all this happening to him now?
Well, in a way, it's like karma. You have to pay for what you did. I said, personally, I have no malice. I've forgiven. But then public funds or other criminal activities involving others must be dealt with. And I think what they have done is to do it through due process. And I think it's important to remind all personalities that we can open up investigations and respect due process.